Good evening. Welcome to Sports, Politics, and More, live from New York City. I am your host for this program tonight, Andrew Pollack. My usual host, Frank Todaro, will not be with me tonight. Folks, today will go down as one of the most saddest days in American history, as yet again, we had yet another mass shooting that took place today in Coral Springs, Florida. All right? I have been keeping an eye on this story all day, and I was going to read you an ABC News article to lead off the show. I had it, but you have so much stuff going on, it's just crazy. Here we go. Okay, here is the latest that I can read you from ABC News right now. So right now, 17 are dead. Okay, here we go. 14 victims were taken to hospitals from the incident at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. Victims include students and adults. The suspect is a 19-year-old named Nicholas Cruz. During the shooting, he slipped out of the school afterwards by blending in with other students who were trying to escape. According to the Broward County Sheriff's Office, Nicholas Cruz had an AR-15 rifle. This school, might I add, Nicholas Cruz did attend, according also to the Broward County Sheriff's Office. But he was expelled for disciplinary reasons. I'm just going to quickly read along. Right. Yeah, I'm just reading as I'm going along because I don't want to give out inaccurate information. But I do want to give my opinion. And the reality of what happened today was that I completely agree with what President Trump tweeted earlier, was that no student, teacher, or staff member should ever have to bear this awful thought of dealing with a tragedy like this. It's something that, of course, will be looked at for many years to come. And unfortunately, sad reality is civilians are still able to get assault weapons. Okay, I've never openly gave my opinion on assault weapons. Okay, I'm all for the Second Amendment. Believe me, I am. But let me ask you something. You, the listener, after what happened today, after what has happened, I can name since Sandy Hook, which, believe me, I can go all night about how I know Sandy Hook very well. Do you honestly think that any civilian should be getting any of these assault weapons? I, in the right mind, and I've told my friends this since Sandy Hook, is that why is the American public allowed to get an AR-15 like Nicholas Cruz had, or MK-47? These type of weapons, and certainly members of the military will agree with me on this if they're listening, those belong to members of the military. Now, okay, if you want to have a shotgun or a handgun for protection, I'm all for that. But in the right mind, do you need a military assault weapon like this guy had today? I, in the right mind, do not believe that we should be gaining access to these assault weapons and carrying many magazines for all we know. And it's not fair to call the name game out. I don't want to blame the NRA, but when it comes to the NRA, let me tell you something. Let me tell you all something. I, in the right mind, believe that the NRA keeps pushing its mind down its propaganda thoughts down into our minds, and they keep saying, you know, we don't care. You can get an assault weapon. You can get an assault rifle. I just don't think, in the right mind, that anybody in the American public, excluding the military, because the military needs those AKs, they need those MRs. I can go on and on and on and on. After today's incident, you know, what can we do? What can we do? We have a president who's trigger happy. And again, I count my blessings every day that Hillary Clinton's not the president of the United States. Okay, because we would be, you could kiss all your handgun rights goodbye. And again, you are entitled to a handgun if you're sane and if you're going to use it responsibly. But after what happened today, I seriously doubt Donald Trump's going to take away any rights to an assault weapon or an assault rifle. Keeping in mind, our president actually has a handgun on him 24/7. I can barely remember any president who claimed that he kept a gun by his desk side in the Oval Office. Hell, even Ronald Reagan kept his shotguns private. I'm getting off topic, right? I'm just getting crazed up about this because I have a bad feeling that this guy could have been mentally ill. That's another problem. The mentally ill should not be gaining any access at all to these weapons. It's a long laundry list. Okay? I can get into. But I think it's time to have a discussion about assault weapons and assault rifles. You know, it's that time. Also tonight, since Frank isn't going to be on the air, I'm going to read some comments in the chat room. I'm going to pull it up in a sec. Because I do want to see if people are going to disagree with me. I'll probably get a lot of crazy, trigger-happy people in the chat right now saying, why are you saying this? Well, again, I blame the... Okay. Turns out nobody's in the group chat. Alright, I can work with this. I have no issue at all. Today is just a sad example of what we have become. We are still trigger happy. We are still mentally insane when it comes to our firearms. And again, we need to really rethink this issue. What the problem is, again, Trump won't do anything. No one does anything. You know, I saw a thing on Facebook today. Thoughts and prayers. You know, I even tweeted that out today at Andy's Randomness. Alright? You know, it's just not enough. It's just not. Okay, I let all my thoughts out, which is good. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did, because if I didn't, I would have went insane, just not coming up with this epic opening monologue I just came up with. Well, that's not good. My chair almost collapsed, and Frank would always ask me, "What's wrong with your chair? Get a new one." Well, I wish I could, but I need to get a new one in the studio, that's for sure. It's bad enough I'm using my old Samsung Galaxy to do this show tonight. Ain't no less to say. You know, just keep your thoughts and best thing to do again. If you want to keep thoughts and prayers, go on ahead, do that. But also, let's have a discussion. Let's have it right now. Maybe you're in Miami right now. Maybe you're a parent who has a student at school today and is listening to this show live. You know, let's have this discussion. Let's talk about how are we going to stop the insanity of assault weapons and assault rifles being allowed to the American public. I'll just give one quick example, okay? I'd say you go to a state like South Carolina, okay? And this is an example. Everybody remembers South Carolina, right? Dylan Roof, Charleston shooting. I'll just give an example, okay? Everybody still remembers Obama singing, "Amazing Grace." You go to South Carolina, no questions asked. They'll give you magazines, they'll give you an AK, they'll give you an MR, no questions asked. They'll do that. I'll quickly go into New York. Okay? New York has very tough gun laws. I understand, you know, Andrew Cuomo, our governor, did very tough regulations on these guns. You got to go through a very strict process of getting a weapon in New York State. But let's backtrack here. I don't want to make any assumptions that Nicholas Cruz went to a gun store and, purchased this, purchased that, because in Florida, in Florida, you can legally buy fireworks. No questions asked. It's probably the same thing with guns. They probably didn't figure out this was a kid. But one more message I'm going to issue tonight. Before I move on, I don't want to go on with this all night. One thing I want to mention. If you're a student in a school, okay, it could be anywhere. It could be any school. If you see something suspicious, see anything out of the ordinary with another peer, best thing to do, talk to a superintendent if you can, because there are superintendents. In fact, we have a superintendent who was at the school today and went on camera and openly said there was multiple fatalities on live national television. You can go to that person. You can go to a principal or a vice principal or even a guidance counselor. You're going to a guidance counselor. That's the whole point. That's the whole idea. Just tell them. If you're in, a college setting, let security know, let a professor know, let somebody know. Because, honestly, I just wish we could figure out how to change this issue with assault weapons. Because every liberal claims that it's a handgun or a shotgun or something. No, I've researched a lot of school shootings. And I have a friend who, me and him talk about, he actually is very familiar with all these, with firearms, okay? He's not a gun owner like me. I finally woke him up. Oh, we got a comment from Matt Camper. Okay, folks, let me refresh who Matt Camper is. Matt Camper is a famous periscoper who does mass transit issues, and today he was doing a live broadcast of what was going on, because I was watching the ABC affiliate in Florida today. Oh, yeah, the video. I'll mention that. So there was a video on Snapchat that showed what was going on in one of the classrooms. And I'll read the comment right now. I feel that the video of when the shooting happened was shown too much. And I'll certainly agree with Matt Camper. And I might as well call out the ABC affiliate in Miami. So what Matt's trying to allude to, especially how the national feed of ABC was showing it way too many times when Stephanopoulos was on today. I'm trying to get the call letters. Let's see. Yeah, WPLG. Here's my problem with them. They kept showing it way too many times. That whole Snapchat thing. It's the sad thing today is today's actually Valentine's Day. So everybody's thinking about what they're going to have for dinner or what they're going to on a date afterwards. Remember, these are some high school students who are planning out their day. And we're looking forward to comments are getting interesting. Comments are getting very interesting. I will say that, but I just who I also feel bad for? Can I really be honest? I honestly feel bad for the seniors. Because keeping in mind, when Sandy Hook was going on, I was a senior in high school, okay? I'm going to admit that. I just turned 17 when it happened. And, my school had a strict code of, you're not allowed to have a phone in school. Well, I'm going to admit now that I was keeping an eye on it. And I heard some teachers whispering about it. But I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble. But, I was just online checking abcnews.com when it broke, and look, what I'm trying to make here is this. I feel bad for the seniors because, the seniors are the ones who are looking forward to their fancy graduation coming up in a couple months, and it's bad enough they missed so much school this year down in Miami and Coral Springs specifically thanks to what happened with Hurricane Irene. But with this, is the school going to be even open tomorrow? Is there going to be some sense of normalcy tomorrow? Because Broward County Sheriff's Office still has to investigate this. So, honestly, the way I feel it is, if you're going to seniors, I just feel bad for them. I really do. I honestly do. Okay, so now that we got off that topic, Frank wanted me to bring up the update. I don't want to keep talking about this, so just make me impressed. But soon enough, I'm going to read other stories that were on Trudge today. None that have to do with Trump, because I don't want to go into the wall or DACA because that's not the importance of today. I think for the next 40 minutes, I'm going to try to distract the audience and distract the infidels. That's what Frank calls them. Okay, so Frank wanted me to bring this up. I might as well get back on topic. Well, if you remember 2 weeks ago, I got into a pretty sticky situation with a girl named Janine Rusevich. And yes, that's her real name, if anybody's asking. What happened was, a few weeks ago, Nick Durst was our guest. And he had the audacity, and I'm thankful for him doing this, if he's listening, to embarrass me on national radio and make me look like a fool. And what happened was, you know how we men get crazy? So what happened was, my mom saw her picture on my phone when I was doing, as Pee Wee Herman calls it, speaking the salami. That's the best way I'll do it, because Frank really went in depth last week. So if you missed last week's show, I suggest you listen to it, because it was classic last week. But what happened was, my mom said she was going to take away my phone for a month if I kept talking to this girl. And I blocked her on Facebook. I blocked a mutual friend who suggested me to her. And from there, I have not spoken to her in almost 2 weeks. That's the update I can give. But, I will say but, for a reason, because it's Valentine's Day, and I might as well bring this up. I've had 2 weeks to think about what happened. And honestly, when I go through it again, should I have listened to Frank? Should I have listened to Nick? Yes. I should have. Honestly, out of all the regrets in my life, I'm going to say one thing and one thing only, is that I never want to deal with another situation like that ever again. And I think Nick, what he did 2 weeks ago, embarrassing me on national radio, led up to what happened. And I'll quote my mom calling her a creature, which is, I think, the appropriate way to look at it when I think, oh my God, there's prettier fish in the sea than this one. But honestly, even though it was Valentine's Day, I gotta admit, where I work, and I've openly said I work in a nursing home. I was distracted today. I didn't really think about, oh, I don't have a date or all this crap. No, because the thing is, in my situation, you go through a life-changing moment like that, where first of all, you get embarrassed on national radio with your personal life, number one. And number two, when your mom catches you stopping the meat, to a picture like that, the point of the matter is, you need time to think. And I certainly did. And am I relieved I did? Yes. And I will admit, yes, I do want a real romantic relationship that is built long term with someone. I don't want to make any stupid mistakes like I've done before with my shitty relationships. No. What I want is just to get to know someone casually first. And again, I have a few people in mind that I'm not going to say, because then Nick's going to be like, oh, who do you have in mind? Well, okay, if I were to give you a celebrity, if randomly I have crushes, I said Kira Costerin last week. I mentioned Charlotte Flair before in the past, which they're never going to contact me. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I need more time to think about myself. It's not just a 2-week thing, folks. You need time to just reflect on what happened, move on, and more importantly, I don't want to even bring this issue up again, because it's just going to keep giving me headaches. It's going to make me feel like I'm in a bad place, which happened 2 Saturdays ago. And, I just don't want to deal with any more crazy, horny nut jobs. Alright? That's where I ended. I figured I'll play the Pee Wee Herman song I played last week, because Frank didn't want me playing it specific parts, but I will just play a few parts, and then then I'll read you some Drudge Report articles, or maybe I'll see if there's any good sports stories. I don't know. But let's play the Pee Wee Herman thing. I figured I might as well go into it. So, if you don't remember, back in the early 1990s, Pee Wee Herman, if you don't know who he is, I can't believe you'd look at me crazy like, who's Pee Wee Herman? Well, Pee Wee Herman is played by Paul Reubens, okay? Paul Reubens is an actor, and for many years he played a character called Pee Wee Herman, and what happened was he was dressed in a porno theater in Florida in the 90s, and believe it or not, this is a story that one of my friends told me 2 years ago. And he played me the soundbite, and it's just hilarious. And the way my mom caught me is the way I described the cops catching Pee Wee touching himself, if you want to say it that way. So let's quickly listen to a little bit of the song.
My pants pulled down, detectives around me. I'm by myself, and you have to find me. Forget myself, but the public mind me. I touch myself, oh, pickle, pickle, pulling my taffy. Hey, what are you doing? I wasn't doing anything.
Well, I certainly did get caught. Hey, Pee Wee Herman, how'd you get on here? Well, I don't know. I was just listening to random stuff. Well, this is not a good time. We're sort of on national radio right now. Do you mind if you hang up? Oh! Sorry, Mr. Rubens, but, this is a serious show. We don't... Frank would be happy if you were on, but, it's a nice situation where we just had... Oh, you mean that thing? Well, just please hang up. I'm sorry. We're trying to get you on another time, but not tonight. Sorry. All right. Okay, that was just weird. Anyhow. Well, let's move on to 8:30. All right, where's the Drudge Report? I might as well see if anything else is on the Drudge Report today. Let's see what we got. I don't really want to read about Oh, you know what I want to read? That Netanyahu story. Oh, boy, the Florida thing's really gotten to me today, but oh my goodness, I might as well talk about what happened to the Israeli Prime Minister. Oh, boy, I've been on the story since yesterday, believe it or not. Okay. This is a Yahoo article. Headline reads, Benjamin Netanyahu rejects calls to resign after police seek indictment. Okay, so I'm going to read along. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected calls to step down today after police recommended his indictment for corruption, the biggest challenge yet to the right-wing premier's long tenure in power. All right, so I'm trying to find out the part about his donation. Let's see what it says. Okay, police recommended yesterday that he be indicted for bribery, fraud, and breach of public trust after a long-running investigation. A prime minister facing such police recommendations or who has been formally charged is not obligated to resign from the office of Israeli prime minister. Okay, so what I can do is if I can find an English feed of Netanyahu, I will play it, because they're normally, if you follow the okay, here's the thing. Many of you know I'm Jewish, right? I hope most of you know by now, because Nick and John over the years, we talked about, how I like Netanyahu, but Frank really doesn't know my admiration for Benjamin Netanyahu. My opinion of him is, he's a nationalist, okay? He puts Israel first, okay? He doesn't take any crap from any Palestinians. But this is what I don't understand. I think this is a witch hunt. The only thing I could see, honestly, is that maybe it's just something that they felt that he did illegally. Maybe he did something, maybe he didn't. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Let me see what he said. This might be in Hebrew, so let me play it. No really meaningful statements from the Prime Minister. Okay, I can read one thing. The report is biased, extreme, perforated, contrary to facts and logic to reason. I'm sure, as always, the truth will come out, and it won't come out of any of it. Well, again, I hate to see him get. Let's see what else he has. I'm just going through his Facebook feed, and again, he's on Facebook a lot. He's on Facebook a lot. And if you're on Facebook, and somehow, some way, you think Israel is an important ally to the United States, just go on his Facebook feed, because this guy is a very serious world leader. Okay? Yeah, that's him speaking in Hebrew. But I like him. I like him a lot. Even if I was Christian, I'd still like him. Oh. I found an interesting video about him discussing Syria. Let's see if it's in English.
I've been warning for some time about the dangers of Iran's military entrenchment in Syria. Iran seeks to use Syrian territory to attack Israel for its professed goal of destroying Israel. This morning, Iran brazenly violated Israel's sovereignty. They dispatched an Iranian drone from Syrian territory into Israel, and this demonstrates that our warnings were 100% correct. Israel holds Iran and its Syrian host responsible for today's aggression. We will continue to do whatever is necessary to protect our sovereignty and our security.
So this is an issue that has pretty much panicked Israelis for a long time now. Netanyahu always talks about, well, Syria could attack Israel. Jerusalem is under attack. You know, the thing is, in Israel, they have a very strong defense system, all right? And what happens is whenever Israel is under attack, the Israeli army comes in and they do anything to protect Israel. That's the whole point. But I'm trying to say here is this. Syria is still a threat to Israel. And the problem is with this story about corruption, honestly, I really hate for a witch hunt to go against Benjamin Netanyahu. And, you know, I may have to talk to Frank next week if we can get any more information on the Israeli Prime Minister. I got to admit, for years I've watched this guy. He's a very serious leader. We don't want to mess with Benjamin Netanyahu. Trust me. Oh! Elizabeth Warren talks about Native American heritage. Let's see what this one is about. I think I actually have a video from the Boston Globe. Let me see if I can play it. Come on, I hate these stupid ads. Oh, here's the video. It's a few minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but Elizabeth Warren is a real piece of work. I can't stand her.
Now, I've noticed that when my name comes up, President Trump likes to talk about Pocahontas. Yep.
You want Pocahontas?
Let's talk about Pocahontas. Not Pocahontas, the fictional character that most Americans know from the movies, but Pocahontas, the native woman who really lived. As you know, Pocahontas' real journey was far more remarkable.
Ah, shut up, you old hag. Shut up. Shut up. It was the same thing Alex Jones would be saying right now. Well, she they're trying to make sure she gets her momentum for 2020. I don't know. That's what Alex Jones would be saying right now. I know this woman is such a piece of work, and she goes into Pocahontas. You know, there clearly are some high cheekbones for Elizabeth Warren. You know, you have to be that clueless to vote for Elizabeth Warren. I'm sorry. I don't like her. Again, it's just a stupid story that was on the Trudge Report. Okay, so this is a story I actually read earlier, believe it or not, earlier in the day today, was that, yes, I even heard about Mark Simone talking about this. Bill Clinton is too toxic for campaign in midterms. Well, the story goes, Bill Clinton wants to get back on the campaign trail, reinvigorating the Democratic Party and trying to see if the Democrats can take back the House and Senate later this year. Let me see. Let me listen if there's an audio clip.
Bill Clinton too toxic to campaign in midterms by Edward Isaac Dover.
There we go.
Democrats are looking to embrace the #MeToo movement and rally women to push back on President Donald Trump in the midterms, and they don't want Bill Clinton anywhere near it. In a year when the party is deploying all their other big guns and trying to appeal to precisely the kind of voters Clinton has consistently won over, an array of Democrats told Politico they're keeping him on the beach. They don't want to be seen anywhere near a man with a history of harassment allegations, as guilty as their party loyalty to him makes them feel about it.
Okay, so yeah, I completely agree with what the Politico article says, and this has to do with the Me Too movement as well, because think about it, okay? If anybody remembers, in 1992, Bill Clinton did that interview on 60 Minutes about the woman who was claiming sexual abuse against him, and then everybody remembers the Monica Lewinsky incident, right? If you don't remember it, you're clearly lost in a time warp, but, you know, I gotta agree with the Democrats in a way, because if they're so desperate to give Nancy Pelosi the gavel back, which I certainly hope that doesn't happen, because that would be our worst national nightmare if that denture-moving freak gets the gavel back. You know, we need to figure out a way to stop Nancy Pelosi, okay? Plain and simple. And you're going to say to me, well, Andrew, you know, have you ever seen the Rush Limbaugh episode of Family Guy where Brian Griffin says, stuff her with, I forget what it is, but, you know, I heard that the first time I saw that episode on national TV. I'm thinking, what? Seth MacFarlane is a liberal. Why would he say that? You know, honestly, wishing someone dead is not correct. I'm sorry. That's not the right way to defeat the enemy. You know, that's what Rush Limbaugh would certainly agree with me on. You know, the only way we can stop this enemy is if we get informed and we figure out what the Democrats' agenda is. And today, the Democrats gave away their agenda for the midterm elections. They don't want Bill Clinton anywhere near candidates. And another thing, you know, there's going to be Democrats in Minnesota trying to get Al Franken's old seat. You know, the reality of it is, if Bill Clinton was campaigning for that seat, mark my words, that gives the Republicans the seat. Because Minnesota has been leaning red for some time now. They have. It's possible. You know, the main thing is the day that Al Franken resigned, I was in a giddier mood because I just couldn't stand him. And then we got this election going on. There was a congressional seat up for grabs in Pennsylvania next month. Here we go. Let's see. Connor Lamb in Congressional District. Oh, I just had it. And now it crashed on me. Why is it that these stupid ads keep coming up? Oh, I actually have a video. You know, I'm glad these websites have audio or video, so I don't have to ramble on. But there you have, folks. I thought I just had it. Let's see. You know, I'll just read it. Connor Lamb, who is the Democratic nominee running for Congressional District number 18, is trying to win that seat. And there's a lack of GOP enthusiasm for Rick Saccone, who has been endorsed by Donald Trump. And I am aware of that because I have friends in Pennsylvania who claim they've been getting robocalls in that district. Not friends, but friends is not a good word. I'm sorry, because I'm thinking of a friend who just texted me on Facebook right now. Jeez. Very bad timing. No, I have insiders. Let's go with that word. Insiders who claim that they've been getting robocalls from Donald Trump, getting the votes out for Rick Saccone. All right? The Democrats are hoping that if they win this district, they will have a little bit of momentum going into the midterms in November. But the problem is, again, Minnesota, that could be a close race for Al Franken's old seat. The good news is Michelle Bachmann is considering running for the seat. I think she could have a good chance of winning that seat. I hope she does, because I would definitely support Michelle Bachmann if I was in her state. And, you know, if the Republicans better get back on track eventually, because I understand a lot of candidates want to be endorsed by Donald Trump, but, you know, there needs to be a way for the Republicans to keep their majority. Because then the problem is you've got to be worried about 2020. You got to worry about Elizabeth Warren with her high cheekbones thinking of running. You got to worry about Kamala Harris. You got to worry about Joe Biden. You got to worry about Cory Booker. You got to maybe worry about Oprah. Maybe. Maybe Oprah. I don't know. What I'm trying to make here is that we got to be alarmed about the midterms. Because, again, Pelosi is trying to use that evil smiling smirk to get the gavel back. And that will not be good for our country. That means they'll find a way to get more illegal immigrants through the border. And they'll make sure that Trump doesn't get the war bill. I'll quickly bring that up. Might as well, since we're on the topic. There is supposed to be, get this, a bill. They announced it on Monday. The Republicans are siding with the Democrats on DACA. And they might get $25 billion for the wall funding between the U.S.-Mexico border. You know, the whole idea of the Republicans getting this through, they better get it through. And I'm going to give a reason why, and I'm an insider for this. The DACA protesters, they have some sort of group, I forget the name of it. Rumor has it, on Monday, March 5th, they are planning to march from Trump's hotel in Midtown Manhattan by Columbus Circle and chant, "March to the Tower!" along West 59th Street. Yes, because 59th Street is where Central Park is. And they're planning to walk to Trump Tower, and the cops will block them off, but I've been there, and let me tell you, it's not fun when they block the middle of the street and traffic can't get past Fifth Avenue. It could be a natural disaster. All I'm going to say is they better get a deal done on DACA, and they better get that wall funded, because all hell's going to break loose after March 5th. All hell is going to break loose on March 5th. Okay, so I figured I want to read one more story, and this is about New York City. We're going to talk about one of the most famous jails in the country, Rikers Island. I'm going to read this New York Post article. It was posted about an hour ago. So I knew I wanted to talk about something. I'm thinking, wait a minute. What do I want to talk? Right, New York City's asshole mayor thinking of, again, I don't like this de Blasio guy. Really don't. And I might as well quickly mention this. My state Senate district, maybe you might remember, maybe if you're in New York, you'll remember this woman's name. Her name is Vicky Palladino. And I'm actually getting close and close with her lately. I'm not going to get into how or why, because then I'll get in trouble with legal reasons, but I found out last weekend that she is running for state senate in my district here in Queens. I double-checked the internet, and I told her privately that I can logically vote in the November election for her, and I promised her she'd have my support in the November election, challenging my current state senator, Tony Avello, who I think he's an okay guy. And lately he's parting away from de Blasio, but I'd rather have a tough, hard-neck conservative like Vicky Palladino as my state senator than little-minded Tony Avello. But today she came out and talked about a dumb idea by Bill de Blasio's administration to put a small inmate facility in Kew Gardens. So let me tell you guys about this. I'm very familiar with the area. You have Queens Boulevard and Union Turnpike, all right? And around the area, you have nursing schools and doctor schools around the area, and then you have many bus lines and the subway right there, okay? What in the world is this moron thinking? Putting a inmate facility in the middle of a crowded place in Queens. What the hell is wrong with this guy? You know, I'm a New Yorker, okay? I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to Rikers, okay? The previous two mayoral administrations under Mike Bloomberg and Rudolph Giuliani were very smart when it came to handling of Rikers Island, which is one of the most famous jail facilities in America. Let me read this. Yeah, here we go. The shuttered Queens Detention Center. That's what I wanted to read about. That's how I'll end the show tonight. It's talking about this dumb idea putting... Okay, so I'll go into the history. The proper name of this facility in Queens is called the Queens Detention Center. It will be reopened as a jail for the first time since 2002 to help with the closure of Rikers Island, but it hasn't been sitting empty for 16 years. It was used for a Netflix show, Orange is the New Black. Keep reading. But the point I'm trying to make here is this. I might as well make a point, is that why do you need inmates coming from Rikers Island going to, again, a very populated area of Queens in Kew Gardens, where millions and millions of people go to that area every single day. Work, to commute, and, for happy hour along Queens Boulevard with all the taverns you have around there. I just don't understand that this moron wants to open up 4 small detention centers, not just Queens. He wants to reopen one in Mott Haven in the Bronx. He wants to open another jail facility in Lower Manhattan. And he wants to also open up another facility in downtown Brooklyn where they're going to ship all the Rikers Island inmates to these 4 small jail facilities. I just don't understand. What the hell are they thinking? It'll basically put the city in bankruptcy because you have to move everybody from, yes, this is a state and city jail. That's what Rikers Island is in New York. You mean to tell me the city of New York is going to pay for all these inmates to go into smaller jail facilities in 4 different boroughs? And Staten Islanders, you should just be thankful de Blasio hasn't included you. I always say it on my YouTube channel. New York City is a city that is not to law and order. And you know what's even more messed up? In my neighborhood, I'll give an example. By the Long Island Expressway, where 188th Street is, if you're familiar with Fresh Meadows, there's the shopping plaza where you have Kohl's, GameStop, CVS, and Applebee's. There's an unsettling sight. There's a homeless person begging for money in the left turn lane to go eastbound onto Horace Hardy Expressway. I've noticed it lately. Last summer there was a homeless guy literally blocks away from my house with a shopping cart. It's a criminal's paradise. It's a nightmare. And I've said this before. If Manhattan is going to get worse now, thanks to this situation, now you're going to put inmates in Lower Manhattan where if they escape, they could be walking around and committing another crime. If this plan, God forbid, goes through, and they shut down Rikers Island, God forbid, we need the National Guard. Because it'll take years to clean up from this mess. I want Bill de Blasio impeached. Right? Plain and simple. I want the moron impeached. His federal corruption charges, he got off the hook for it last year. I want them to bring it back up. I want the Manhattan District Attorney to do something. I want them to overturn the result and make Nicole Malliotakis the mayor. But no, that's not how it works. Okay? Wow. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to end the show. Follow me on Twitter at Andy's Randomness. Frank is at EAZC34. He tweets a lot too. So I'm going to end the show now before the music plays out. So Frank will be back next week, hopefully. And have a good night.